something that took me many, many years to learn was how to fix my sleep and how much of an essential biomarker it is in order to indicate health. What I mean by that is that the better I was able to sleep, the more aware I became of how foods were affecting me, what foods were a problem, how the symptoms and reactions worked. And the primary way that I did this was by trying to get a better sleep. It is the ultimate biomarker and indicator of health, the deeper and better that you sleep in general, I believe. So for me, it took me many years of not being able to sleep. I would fall asleep pretty easy, but I would wake up at maybe 1 or 2 a.m. and not be able to sleep again, just if my heart was racing, my thoughts were racing, my body was very tight, rigid, I was getting twitches, anxiety. It was crazy. I didn't know what was wrong with me. I googled it and people say it's a natural cycle, but clearly this wasn't. At the time, I was eating large dinners like we all do. We have carbs, we have meat, we have whatever for dinner, and then every night would that would happen to me. It took me years and years of trial and error to figure out that it was the meat with the high histamines causing this. I was never able to actually fix the histamine intolerance. What I do now is I just eat the meat in the morning. So when I wake up until lunch, I'll eat all of my meat. And for the rest of the day, I either fast or have a very low carb fruit diet of just fruit meal of, say, blueberries for dinner, and that's it. If I do this, I sleep pretty well. Not perfect, but pretty well. So the closer I get to a diet that is good for me, the better that I sleep, right? Ultimately, it would be perfect if I could heal the histamine intolerance. I haven't been successful in doing it. I don't know how to do it, to be honest. I just sort of manage things so I can sleep better. And also, I eat steak instead of if you eat ground beef, it can cause a problem because of the surface area. The histamines grow more. So I suggest eating steak, or at least ground beef that's been pushed together, squashed together, so they're like steaks, right? Less surface area, the better. The less heat, the better. The less time, the better. If you can boil meat, it's the best. If you can boil chicken or beef, boiled chicken isn't that great. Boiled beef is fine. It's better than you think. But it's just very impractical, very difficult. So anyway, for me, focusing on sleep was key, and I was able to figure out so much about what works for me, what doesn't work for me. The best is if I stop eating at lunch and then I fast for the rest of the day, I have a really good sleep. I get very tired, I feel really relaxed, and I sleep. I think this is also consistent with evolution, that because animals are active in the morning, so as humans, as hunters, we would have hunted in the morning, caught the animal, eaten it around the morning or lunch-ish, and then the rest of the day we would just relax and then sleep. There would be no food left, very hard to preserve food. I can't see that we would eat at night unless we had, I don't know, some berries or tubers or whatever. But even then, why would you if you're just eating a ton of meat? So it makes sense to me that we are somewhat evolved to sleep on a slightly, if not very empty stomach, and we can sleep better when we do. It doesn't make sense to me that we would eat a bunch of food and then go to sleep, because, I mean, we don't need the energy, right? So it makes sense to me that we eat in the morning. Also, for me, it was very difficult to start eating so much meat in the morning hours. It took a fair while to get used to it. Part of the reason why I think it's so difficult is because we eat such big dinners, and then we don't wake up hungry. But if you do it this way, you're essentially turning intermittent fasting on its head. So you're fasting in the afternoon instead of the morning and overnight. So then you wake up somewhat hungrier than if you'd had dinner. So it makes it much easier. But anyway, anyone who's struggling with their healing, struggling with their symptoms, their reactions, I recommend focusing on sleep as number one. The closer you get to fixing your sleep, the closer you will get clarity around how to heal. Thanks, guys.